Welcome everyone, I'm Adesewa Josh and this is Africa Matters. This week we'll be taking you to Sudan, Uganda and Kenya. But first we'll speak to the governor of Nigeria's Zamfara state. He's trying to stop the escalating attacks on schools and the kidnapping of students for ransom. We'll stay in Nigeria to bring you a story from the southeastern state of Enugu, where the separatist group IPOB has issued stay-at-home orders. And then we'll travel to Uganda's capital, Kampala, where an app is changing how residents manage their waste. Zamfara state in northwest Nigeria is reeling from banditry and kidnapping. An intelligence report estimates that more than 6,000 people have been killed since the crisis began in 2009. Over 3,500 people have been kidnapped and nearly $7 million have been paid in ransom. The government initially tried to negotiate with the bandits, but it's now taking drastic measures to clamp down on the criminals. Schools have been closed to prevent further kidnappings of children. Markets and mobile networks have also been shut down to allow the military to carry out raids on the hideouts of kidnappers and criminal gangs. But the measures have taken a toll on Zamfara's economy as small businesses struggle to stay open and the price of food skyrockets. A 2019 intelligence report revealed that several traditional leaders, top government officials, and security forces in Zamfara allegedly colluded with bandits to kidnap, collect ransom, or even kill their own people. So, I asked Zamfara State Governor Bello Matawalle if the tough new measures he's implementing are keeping the bandits away and why it's taken him more than 2 years to tackle the crisis head-on.
What I did initially is to call for a stakeholders meeting to discuss fully on what is happening, because you need to know the root of the crisis before thinking of the next step to tackle the crisis. Based on that, I called a meeting with all the stakeholders, including the vigilante group and the Fulani. I put them together so that each one should admit the grievances. So it was there and then when we sort out and find out the situations, we now agreed on the best options and way forward. So to me, the issue of bandit completely is political because it has happened in Zamfara state, and that is where bandit was initiated in Zamfara in 2011, in 2007, 2010 to 2011. We doesn't have that kind of situation. We only heard about it happening in the southeast and the south-south.
In 2019, shortly after you were elected governor, you commissioned an investigation into Zamfara's insecurity and a report indicting 15 out of 17 emirs, 10 military officers, and 2 ex-governors as alleged sponsors of banditry and kidnapping was submitted to you. You promised to do something about it. 2 years on, the recommendations of that report has barely been implemented by your government. Mr. Governor, do you blame yourself for the killings, the loss of life, the loss of livelihood that's taking place in your government, in your state right now, because you lack the political will to nip the problem in the bud when you had a chance?
If a report was given to you, you can't just say, okay, because I have the report, so whatever written in that report is correct, so I will just implement it. It's not right. You need to do your own assessment. You need to take a step. You have to do a white paper. You have to put a committee to verify those reports and take measures, appropriate measures, before you have launched an attack to the report.
But Mr. Governor, it's taking more than 2 years.
Let me tell you,
okay.
That's what I'm telling you. The report is a bulky report, which it has to be step by step. It's not a report that you have to implement in 1 day. It is not.
Of course, I understand
As a
that.
governor, I have to give a fair hearing to each and every person.
That's true.
1, 2, and I have started implementing that report. Most of what they have recommended, the government has started implementing it one by one. For example,
but do you not think it's too late? Is it coming too late?
It is not. It is the same report recommend for dialogue. The same report.
But the same report also recommended that you should take a look at 15 out of 17
That's what I was telling you.
What happened to the 10 military officers who were supposedly at least to be... Okay.
I'm not a military officer. All I do is to write a corporate letter to send to the military authority to take action, both military, police, and other securities, not the governor, because they are not under me, they are not under the governor of the state.
Problem is it's just taking 2 years.
It's not
over
taking
2 years.
You can't just rush you can't just rush and endanger some innocent people. As a leader, I need to understand, I need to verify all information in my hand. You understand? So now, there are some people who are even promoting the insecurity of the state. We are going to hit them as we hit the cotton of the network. So that people should be prepared for that. Those that are promoting this insecurity in my state will be in danger as soon as go back to Nigeria, because we cannot allow them sabotaging our airport. We cannot allow them, our people being killed, they don't care. We cannot just allow them propagating lies. We cannot allow them causing chaos in my state. It's not possible anymore.
Staying in Nigeria, the government normally marks Independence Day with parades, but an outlawed separatist group has banned festivities in the southeast. It's also been issuing weekly stay-home orders in Enugu State to protest the detention of its leader, Nnamdi Kanu. But as Bello Muhammad reports, residents are bearing the brunt of a directive they say cripples their ability to make a living.
Every Monday for the past 2 months, the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, has ordered the people of Enugu to stay at home. Officially banned 4 years ago, the group continues to operate, calling for the breakaway of the southeast region, Biafra. When its leader Nnamdi Kanu was arrested in June on charges of treason, members organized a sit-in demanding his release. Seamstress Cynthia Oha says the stay-home orders are affecting her ability to provide for her family. She makes around $12 a day when business is good, but some days she goes home with nothing.
Initially, when it started, I was hoping that it will help us. But as time goes on, it started affecting us because instead of getting more income, it started reducing. And I don't think that I'm enjoying it because my customers are complaining. If I do not come out today, I will not earn anything because I normally eat based on what I get every day.
A militant splinter group of the IPOB posts the weekly directives on Facebook. Many who dare to open their shops are attacked, with some reportedly killed. Ifeanyi Ugo isn't prepared to take the risk.
If you don't come out, you don't have income. For as you can see, the road is empty. So I'm even afraid. Afraid of what? Afraid anybody can attack me because they said nobody should come out. And all of us, we are inside. I'm hungry. That's why I came out to look for something to eat. I'm not at work.
Hopes of an independent Biafra, a legacy of Nigeria's civil war. The region in the southeast is made up of mostly ethnic Igbos. In 1967, former military officer Odumegwu Ojukwu declared Biafra's independence from Nigeria, following a wave of persecution of Igbos in other parts of the country. What followed was 3 years of war in which more than 1 million people died, mostly of starvation. And while the war ended in 1970, the idea of Biafra didn't. And the wounds of ethnic grievances that ignited the conflict haven't healed. Several groups in the region and beyond are demanding the Nigerian government hold talks with the banned group. They argue that if the federal government can negotiate with Boko Haram terrorists, the same can be achieved with the separatist group. But until then, it seems the residents in this area will have to continue their sit-ins and unable to return to work. Abel Ejikeme, TRT World, Enugu, Nigeria.
Still to come on Africa Matters.
Uganda's capital Kampala generates at least 2,000 tons of waste every day, but not all of it is collected. I am Darren Alan Cheune in a suburb where people are trying to collect waste with a tap on a mobile phone.
Welcome back, everyone. Turkish Foreign Minister Mevlut Cavusoglu was met with the chairperson of the African Union Commission, Musa Faki Mahamat. Faki visited Ankara ahead of the Turkey-Africa Partnership Summit set for October. They discussed the coronavirus pandemic and Turkey's pledge to support Africa in its fight against COVID-19. Just over 4% of eligible Africans have been fully immunized against the virus, compared to more than 60% in Western nations.
Cette question sera également évoquée dans le cadre de ce sommet, mais
At the last meeting of Turkey Council Foreign Ministers, we agreed to provide vaccine aid to African countries. We will deliver these shots to countries that need them the most. We also evaluated what we can do about vaccine production on the African continent. As our president has emphasized several times, when the Turcovac shot is ready, African nations will be given priority.
As the world struggles to increase vaccination rates against COVID-19, the Zimbabwean government has introduced a new mandatory rule for its employees to improve and increase mass immunization across the country. Laurie Trimmers explains.
For months, Acholo Jani refused to join the coronavirus vaccine queue, fearing potential side effects. But he was told he would lose his job if he didn't get the jab. So the 43-year-old mechanic changed his mind.
Vaccine is your gate pass to work. If you don't have it, you have to return home.
All government workers must now be vaccinated by the 15th of October. If they refuse, they will not get paid or allowed to report to work. And some private companies have also made it compulsory for their employees.
I was supposed to be at work right now, but now I'm standing here in the queue for 7 hours, but they are not serving me very fast. It means I'll lose my daily earning.
Zimbabwe has so far received 12 million doses of mainly the Chinese Sinopharm and Sinovac vaccines, which require 2 shots. Around 15% of the country's 15 million population are fully vaccinated, well above the average African rate of 4%, but far from the government's goal of 60%. The Zimbabwe Congress of Trade Unions has gone to court to challenge both the government and private companies mandating shots for staff, saying workers desperate to earn money have no choice.
It's not that people do not want or people are ignorant. So there's no basis for workers to lose jobs under those circumstances. So yes, we are concerned a lot of workers will lose jobs. We are going to see some job carnage because this matter has not been handled well.
The government is also under fire for limited supplies and lack of staff at many vaccination centers. Many people can't return to work until they're completely inoculated. That means missing out on their usual pay for a few weeks, but they say that without a vaccination card, you can't survive. Laurie Timmers, TRT World.
Let's take a look at some of the stories we're following. Hundreds of kidnapped boys, some as young as 12, have been forced to join Daesh-linked militants in northern Mozambique. That's according to Human Rights Watch. The group, known locally as Al-Shabaab, has been abducting hundreds of teenagers, taking them to training camps and forcing them to fight against government forces. Maiga Rukayatu and Madiaga Diambendi from Burkina Faso are this year's joint winners of the UNHCR Nansen Refugee Award. They've been recognized for providing support, shelter, and food to some of the 1.4 million people driven from their homes over the past years because of armed militant attacks. Madiega opened his large backyard and nearby fields to displaced families who built temporary shelters. In another part of Burkina Faso, Rukayatu Maiga has been helping recently displaced people with food, temporary shelter, and practical advice in their new towns. An Eritrean lawyer made history this week after becoming the first black African woman to be elected to Germany's parliament, or Bundestag. Alex Tesfayesus ran as a Green Party candidate. She and her family fled Eritrea to Germany when she was a child. Sudan and South Sudan have reopened their border after almost 11 years. Sudanese Prime Minister Abdullah Hamdok and South Sudanese President Salva Kiir say the border will be opened at 4 crossings to allow the free movement of goods and people. The two neighbors had signed an agreement in 2012, but it hadn't been implemented until now. Meanwhile, Ethiopia has expelled 7 senior United Nations officials over meddling allegations. The UN said the nearly 3-month-long de facto blockade has restricted aid deliveries to 10% of what is needed in the war-torn region. In turn, Ethiopia accused unnamed aid workers in the country of favoring and even arming Tigrayan forces. The UN has been sounding the alarm over the worsening humanitarian crisis in Ethiopia's Tigray region. And as the conflict continues, it estimates that 400,000 people in Tigray are starving in famine-like conditions. Sarah Firth reports.
Photos of severely malnourished children sent by frontline health workers in Ethiopia's Tigray region have revealed the severity of the humanitarian crisis unfolding there. Now the UN has sounded the alarm.
5.2 million people still require food aid, with 400,000 people living in famine-like conditions. Our humanitarian colleagues say that child malnutrition is at the same level that at the outset of the 2011 Somalia famine.
Forced starvation is the latest weapon in a conflict now in its 11th month between Tigray forces and the Ethiopian government. The last few months has seen a de facto blockade of humanitarian aid to the region by the government.
Ethiopia is a stain on our conscience because the facts show that access to Tigray, where we have been wanting to have 100 trucks every day arrive in Tigray to meet the needs of the over 5 million people there, we've never reached that.
In fact, the UN has said since July 12th this year, only 606 aid trucks have gained access to the Tigray region, vastly below the target of 100 a day. Under increasing pressure from the international community to resolve the crisis, Ethiopia's government has appeared to double down, blaming the problems with humanitarian aid delivery on the Tigray forces.
At this stage, we are nearly convinced humanitarian assistance is a pretext for advancing political considerations.
The UN warns the situation is likely to get far worse. And with people in Tigray right now reportedly eating grass and plants in the absence of food, and deaths from starvation being reported, the warnings don't come more serious than that. Sarah Firth, TRT World.
Over the past 2 decades, Africa has had the highest urban growth rate in the world. It's caused many of the continent's cities to struggle with waste collection. However, a group of Ugandan innovators is helping clean up Kampala with the help of technology. Darren Alan Cheyune reports.
Every day, Sylvia Isoke prepares meals for her family. This creates kitchen waste and an often stinky problem.
We are in time of epidemic, and children at home, we find ourselves that they have 4 meals a day. So that means there is a lot of waste to dispose of. So, and we find we have a problem. The authorities take a long time, like maybe 2 weeks. So in those 2 weeks, you find the flies are all over, the bad smell.
Sylvia lives in a suburb of Kampala, and Uganda's capital generates 2,000 to 2,500 tons of waste daily. Just a little more than half of it is collected, according to the city government. But this team of innovators is working to close that gap. They have built a mobile phone application called Your Waste. It connects households and offices to garbage collection services.
A customer like yourself goes to Google or App Store, downloads the application, signs up, then they're able to schedule for a pickup by either choosing a one-off pickup or a subscription. And after doing this, they can choose the type of waste when they want their collection to be made. And then finally, they can choose to pay for their service. It can be now or later, and the prices usually range from $8 to $10.
This mobile technology is countering inefficiency in waste management. With just a few clicks, subscribers have their garbage collected with minimum delays. The application collects about 40 tons of waste from nearly 500 households every month. The tech startup's impact is great. But Kampala's waste management system is still overwhelmed. The city has had only one dump site for 25 years, and it can no longer handle the large amounts of waste generated by Kampala's growing population. But the city is looking to expand.
As KCCA, we bought land at Dundu, which is 36 kilometers from the city center, and this land is 136 acres. At that place, we hope to be adding value to our waste by composting, by combustion, so that we can get electricity out of that. Hence, we are working with the private sector to bring on board a private company that will manage the new landfill.
These innovators hope that by building simple technologies for informal settlements like slums, they could see cleaner cities across Africa. Darren Alancheyune, TRT World, Kampala.
Now let's take you to Kenya, where an urge to help a friend's son sparked an idea for a skincare business. As a Nyambura miner found out, the ingredients in the product are fresh and from the farm.
To most people, goat's milk is a powerhouse of protein, healthy fats and vitamins. But to Kombonyaga, it had far more potential.
We figured out that actually we could do an organic soap using like several vegetable oils, a soap that would be good, very gentle for the skin, a soap that would soothe a irritated skin, and that's how we ended up now with the goat milk and neem soap.
The discovery led Kombo to start the Clean Nature Company in Embu, Kenya, a city northeast of Nairobi. The recipe is fairly simple. Goat's milk is blended with vegetable oils and aloe vera gel. The mixture is then placed in wooden molds, then left for 24 hours and later cut and packaged. He now sells 5,000 bars of soap monthly, but his inspiration was personal. Desperate to find an eczema cure for his friend's son, Kombonyaga had to think outside the box. The solution he found continues to be used by people with the skin condition up to date. Even though there is little research that proves goat's milk will work to treat eczema, the child's skin condition cleared up, so Kombo didn't stop at the goat milk soap. His company produces other cosmetics with argan, coconut and castor oils, and sells them in Embu and other parts of Kenya. 6 farmers supply Kombo with goat's milk. He buys 15 liters of milk from each farmer every week.
When I do not have customers to buy all that milk, I find that I give so much out, free of charge, to neighbors. But when I learned about Clean Nature, I can say that challenge has been sorted out because I have ready market for my milk.
Kombo's goal is to increase the production capacity to 30,000 bars per month and become the biggest natural skincare company in Africa. Nyambura Maina, TRT World, Embu, Kenya.
Lagos, Nigeria's commercial city, is home to scores of open-air markets where shoppers can get anything from groceries to fabrics and furniture. But instead of trolleys, shoppers use wheelbarrows to move their purchases, and it's providing much-needed jobs for some young people. Wheelbarrow pusher Aziz Sulaiman tells us what his day is like.
My name is Aziz. I came from Oyo, and I'm 22 years old. So I started this business around 2017 to 18. I wake up like around 7. So I will just go to under bridge, go and find customer first. So if the customer wants to buy plenty market, you know that wheelbarrow don't use to enter inside market. We use head, carry it, come out. So then, after we gather the whole load, we use wheelbarrow, push it to anywhere they are going. So, and they will give us our money. That's how we used to do. You want to rent by owner, a whole day is 1,000. You understand? You want to earn half a day is 500. From morning to 12 o'clock is half a day. From 12 to 6 is a full day. So that's how we used to do it. From here to Under Bridge is the farthest place. Closest place from here to First Bank. That is where that is all. So from a day now, from here to First Bank, they can give you 700. From here to Under Bridge, 1,015. That's how we used to do it. But it's not the whole day we used to work. We can just work with 5 or 4 customers, close. A day I can make like 3,000 to 2,500 a day. So and sometimes I can make like 1,500 or 1,000. If there is no work at all, I can make like 1,000, 1,500. But if there is work, I can make a lot of money. If you work a whole day, they can give you 5,000. I don't have a father. I'm the only one with my mom, with my younger brothers and sisters, like 3. So I'm the one feeding them. So every Sunday now, I used to send money to them. So I'm not working for myself. I'm working for the whole family.
That's our show this week. Please let me know what you think about the stories you've seen on the program. Share your thoughts and suggestions on what you want us to cover on Twitter using the hashtag #AfricaMatters. You can also reach out to me on my personal handle. It's Adesewa Josh. Thanks a lot. I'll see you next time.